Greetings and salutations, my friends. Welcome to my very first FM19 experiment. And as I promised you, if it's the what if, it's not got the best title. What if FM19 predicts the Premier League 2018 to 2019 season 100 times? As you can see on over there, this is what happened last year. So last year, at the end of the FM18 season, when all the summer transfer windows was done, I downloaded the latest transfers and all that sort of stuff. So all the teams had this year's squad, and I ran the league 100 times. I always get comments about this. I'm going to explain it the best I can. I'm not doing 100 years, okay? So Jose Mourinho's not going to be 160 years old or whatever it is at the end of it. What I'm saying is I'm doing one season 100 times. And the reason for that is because it's a little bit scientific. What we're trying to do is get a mean average of where these teams finish in the league and all that sort of good stuff. So as you can see what happened here. So bearing in mind, that's with the latest transfers from the summer transfer window and all that sort of good stuff. As you can see there, Cardiff got relegated, which is, not surprising. There's a specific reason I wanted to do this. There's a few interesting things. The big one, as you can see, probably the most surprising aspect of doing the experiment was that, as you can see at the top, Manchester United on 85.94 points, way ahead of Man City, according to Football Manager. And even, let's say, the most optimistic Man United fan is probably going to disagree with that. I think they have a better squad than what they're doing in the league this year, but I don't think they're almost 7 points ahead of Manchester City. So it'll be interesting to see. And so what's going to happen this episode, I'm going to count down the 20 teams. I'll try and sort of speed through it nice and quickly. But what we're basically looking at is what Sports Interactive have done to change both the players and also the game itself. As we know, this year's got a new tactics screen. You can choose, off the ball and in transition and stuff, how the AI deals with that. But also the biggest thing is, all the players are a year older for a start, so maybe some of the older players aren't quite as good. Maybe some of the younger players are better. But also, have they downgraded players? Some of them maybe good a few years ago, not so good nowadays and stuff like that. So without further ado, let's get into number 20. Will it be Cardiff again? The answer is, well, yes, it's Cardiff again. With a worse average points than they were last year. So that's a little bit disappointing. And they didn't win the championship, sadly, but they got relegated 94 times. Out of 100 times that I ran the season, they got relegated 94 times. So if you're a Cardiff fan, according to my calculations, you have a 6% chance of staying up. Good luck with that. Okay, so in 19th, last experiment, it was 36 points they got, and it was Fulham. This year, it's Huddersfield with 33 points. Really disappointing. An actual sort of quite heavy 3.61 drop. Relegated half the time. It's not ideal. In 18th place, the final team to be relegated in my average points league is Fulham with 35.15. I think in real life, I'd say they've underperformed a little bit. I think they spent a lot of money and they were, it looked like they were going to do bits this season. I think they're underperforming a little bit. I think they'll be safe. But according to our experiment, almost half the time, they're going to get relegated as well. So in 17th, last year it was Crystal Palace. This year, it's Crystal Palace with 38.2, so almost very similar. So that sort of suggests that their team has pretty much stayed the same. No, but none of their players have big upgrades. It could be that, a couple of their players got downgraded and a couple of players got upgraded. What I'm going to do, there's going to be a second part to this video, which is going to be the top 20 goal scorers, average goals per season over 100 seasons. And that'll maybe bring a few more things to light that we won't notice here. Right, in the 16th place, it is Watford with 39.66. I don't think Miles will be happy about this. What did they do last season? 41. So they've gone down a little bit, but not too much. They're still relegated 24 times. In 15th place, it's Wolverhampton Wanderers, which is, again, pretty similar. It's gone down. Trust me, guys, there's going to be a few changes, right, when we go up. But 41.40 points. That's a weird way of saying a number, but I'm going with it. Relegated still 10 times. 1 in 10 times relegated. Obviously, they've got a really good team, so I think most people are expected them to do a little bit better in real life this season. They're on a little bit of bad form, I think, currently, aren't they? But I think they'll be fine. In 14th place, and I think most fans of this team will be happy if this was real life, is Southampton with 42.72. Very similar to last year, but relegated 14 times, which, it's not ideal. I've totally forgotten where I am. 13th place is Brighton. Again, almost identical points. We know for a fact, obviously, that Sports Interactive don't update every single player. Some players are just fine. They seem to be realistic attributes. We'll keep them the same. And I think a lot of the Brighton team are pretty much the same. 10 times relegated. Right. Now we're getting into that sort of mid-table mediocrity place. In 12th position is Leicester. Now, this is quite a drop. Remember, although, this drop is almost, let's say, 5 points from last year. That's actually massive. If you think about it, that's average. So we've averaged out over 100 seasons. So a 5-point drop suggests that after their title-winning season and then they had a bit of a shocker, they might have got upgraded a little bit too much and they've downgraded Leicester a little bit more. I think good news is, didn't get relegated a single time, but they also didn't win the championship. Last year, Everton were the only team to not get relegated or win the league. But this year, it's Leicester. They are the only team. Right, okay. On to mid-table, and it is Newcastle. Where did they get last time? There's lots of words in there. 39 points. So they've got 5 points. So they've been upgraded. Interesting. It could be, certain players might just have got a boost. Obviously, Mitrovic had a decent season in the Championship, so maybe he's been improved. A couple of others, some of the younger players might have been improved naturally and all that sort of good stuff. All right, now we're into the top half, and that 10th spot goes to West Ham with 45.93. Still relegated twice, but, you take that. Odds, 98% chance of staying up as a West Ham fan. Actually, no, there's a bit of a drop from last year, interestingly. But in 9th place, we've got Burnley with 48.38 points, very similar to last year. Still relegated 6 times. So they when I was doing the inputting all the data, which it takes forever. They actually got relegated 6 times. They were a bit more up and down. They finished in the Champions League spots like 2 or 3 times, in the Europa League spots a bunch of times, in massive relegation scrap a bunch of times. They were one of the biggest yo-yo teams. It could be because they've got a smaller squad, so any injuries affects them. But you think 100 seasons, that sort of stuff would sort of really average out. But if we go into the, edge of Europe, as it were, in 8th spot, it's Everton with 3 points less this season. Not champions, and they were relegated 3 times, which is an upgrade on last year. We'll have a quick look at the champions, winners and relegated at the end of the season. So, sorry, Everton fans, it's not as good. But a solid 8th place, I think that's kind of where they're about. So that 6th to 8th, 9th spot, I think Everton are. So in 7th place this year, with a decent little upgrade on last year, is Bournemouth, 51.65. Again, amazingly for a team that came 7th overall in points, they were relegated 4 times, which is quite ridiculously high, really. And I think, again, that's to do with smaller squads, more injuries, etc., etc. There's you can't rotate as much, so they're naturally, the smaller squads are always going to struggle a bit more yo-yo-y than other. It could be, certain characteristics in their team, like Callum Wilson might be very much a streaky player or somebody like that. Okay, now we're in the top 6. Now we're in the business end, boys. Last year, 6th place was Tottenham with 70.40 points. This year, it's Tottenham again. Sorry, Spurs fans, but you have been upgraded to 2 points almost, or just over 2 points, and you've won the league twice. That does mean you've got a 2% chance of winning the league, but don't think about it that way. You've won the league in a fictional video game. Good for you, lads. In 5th points, just pipping Tottenham, was Chelsea. They've actually gone down a little bit, not too much in points terms, but the shuffle at the top is quite interesting. Slight downgrade, but they won the league 5 times, didn't get relegated, sort of solid-ish performance. Okay, so in 4th place, last year was Liverpool This year, it's Arsenal. It's Arsenal. 78 points, so quite a gap. Oh, that's the largest gap we've seen, I think. Oh, no, the 6th to 7th points gap is that you can see the top 6 are streaks ahead. You can see it's almost a 20-point average difference between 6th and 7th. But Arsenal come in with a nice chunky 78.2 points, 14 times league winners, never relegated. You know, back to top 4 Arsenal, well done. Right, in 3rd place. Last year it was Chelsea. We know they dropped to 5th. We've got Man United, Man City and Liverpool left to do. In 3rd place, it feels like I'm doing like the charts. It's really I love doing this. In 3rd place is, should we do one of those awkward pauses they do on TV shows? It's Manchester United, my friends. About bloody time. It's all I can say. And this is not coming from a bitter Liverpool fan. I think 3rd in the league on average points is not to sniff at whatsoever. I think they probably take 3rd in the league this season. 78 points are right in the mixer with the Arsenals and the sort of teams above them and below them. It's fair enough, I think, for Man United. I think that it's about time. Last year they were ridiculously overpowered. Their team was far too good. Clearly, either their team was far too good last year or Mourinho was utter shit as a manager. But that might be arguable in real life, but we know in-game he is a brilliant manager and stuff like that. So it looks like the Man United players have taken a bit of a hit, which is about bloody time. In 2nd place, is it Liverpool? Is it Man City? It's Liverpool. It's Liverpool. It's an upgrade, boys. It's an upgrade. We won the league 23 times, my friends. 23 times. I'll take that. It's a 1 in 4 chance of winning the league. We've definitely been upgraded. And 9-point difference. That is a massive upgrade on last year. Bearing in mind, as I said before, it's the same teams with the same squads, all the latest transfers, but the players haven't been upgraded. And there was one thing, because I've done a personal Liverpool save, that I've noticed between a massive change, is that in FM18, Alisson was a bang average goalkeeper. An absolute, you know, he was like, when I brought him into the Liverpool team, he was like, with the updated transfers, he was like 3-star current ability. He was on a par with Karius and Mignolet, really. And then this year, he's an absolute beast. So much like in real life, he has improved our defence immeasurably. And as you can see that, we've got 9 points. He's winning 3 games for us each season, basically. That was the major difference. I think Mo Salah has been upgraded as well, and a couple of other players slightly. Trent Alexander-Arnold's been upgraded, etc., etc. But I think the main difference from playing it myself was the Alisson, the goalkeeper, with 23, same amount as Man United. That annoyed me a bit that we didn't beat Man United. We just can't beat Man United. But we beat him in the table, so I'll take it. And in number 1, of course, is Man City. But as we saw last year, Man United had 86 points, as good as. Man City are top this year with 81.35. It's not... It's quite a drop-off for Man United. I think that shows how overpowered they were. So Man City have improved by 2 points, and I think that's perfectly fine. I think they're better than they were last year. I think maybe lots of small improvements to their players have been made. Raheem Sterling's got another year, etc., etc. So I think that's really sort of fair enough. I just want to quick look at one thing before we look away. And so this is one of the things I wanted to just quickly look at last year. So this is how many times the teams won the Premier League or got relegated. As you can see, with the Premier League titles, Man United won it 75 times out of the 100 last year, and Liverpool won it twice. So it's nice that we've come through, boys. Man City have won it more often, which is to be expected with that downgrade and stuff like that. But and Arsenal, it's a little bit more spread, which is good to know. I think Man City are going to dominate the league for the next few years, but you know, I'll take it. This would be lovely if we could have this sort of mix-up, even, mash-up of all the teams actually having a chance of winning it. Like, Arsenal have improved massively, so have Liverpool. I think, basically, Man United have been stripped away, and we've all got a few more wins under our belt. As for the relegation, I think one of the biggest interesting things for me was Newcastle. They went from 23 relegations in FM18 to 6 this year, which is quite a jump. A lot of the other ones are very similar. Cardiff did worse. Like, they're just terrible. 81, 1 in 5 chance of staying up. Now you've got a 6% chance. It's fine, lads. It's fine. Right. There we go, my friends. I hope you enjoyed that. Found that interesting. Go and check out the next video in the series, which will be coming out tomorrow, where we take a look at the top 20 goal scorers on average goal scored per season. I think that's where we're going to start seeing the players that have been upgraded by Sports Interactive and the players that have been downgraded. I'm looking at you, Lukaku. Thank you very much for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this, please do think about liking it, hitting the share button, tweeting it out or something. This takes a ton of work and data input to do 100 seasons. I'm not going to do assists this year because I'll start self-harming if I have to do more in entry. But we will be doing goals tomorrow. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what your thoughts on any of the players, or specifically if you well know the Man United team, which players have been really downgraded, why that is such a difference. Remember, it's the same squad. But let me know. Thank you very much for watching. Please like it. Already said that. Subscribe if you're new. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.